Hey! Welcome to BL Flexi Stories. I'm the king of this little corner, and you're my guest.
Chapter 11. The Ghost That Never Left. 3 weeks after the church. The penthouse felt different now. Lighter, somehow. Sebastian had moved in. His silver-white hair strewn across my pillows. His blood-red suit jacket hanging next to my black coat in the closet. Black rose petals constantly appearing in places they shouldn't be. I stood at the window, watching rain streak down the glass, the golden bullet warm in my palm. Behind me, I heard the soft click of dress shoes on marble. "You're brooding again." Sebastian's voice was honey over broken glass. "It's becoming a habit." I didn't turn. "I'm thinking. Dangerous pastime." He appeared beside me, leaning against the window frame, his emerald eyes catching the purple neon glow from the street. His silver-white hair was loose, falling across one eye, and his blood-red suit jacket hung open over his bare chest. The thin gold chain at his hip glinted. About what? About how easy it was. Sebastian's expression flickered, the bored arrogance wavering. The masterminds? 3 men, former associates of my father. They held a grudge for 30 years, built a secret facility, erased your past, surgically altered your face, and then died in a single night. I turned to face him, my gray eyes searching his. "It doesn't feel finished." Sebastian was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "What are you suggesting?" "I'm suggesting there's someone else. Someone still pulling strings. Someone who wanted us to think it was over." The room seemed to grow colder. Sebastian reached out and took my hand, the one holding the golden bullet. His fingers were cool, steady. "Then we find them. Together." I pulled him closer, my free hand cupping his jaw, my thumb brushing over his glossy lower lip. "Together," I agreed, and kissed him. But even as his lips parted beneath mine, even as his fingers tangled in my black hair, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. That night I couldn't sleep. Sebastian was curled beside me, his silver-white hair spread across my chest, his breathing soft and even. The dragon tattoos on my arms seemed to writhe in the dim purple light from the city outside. My phone buzzed. I reached for it without moving, not wanting to wake him. The screen glowed with a message from an unknown number. "You killed the puppets, Dominic. But the puppet master is still dancing. Check your brother's villa in Sicily." My blood turned to ice. Anthony. I had exiled Anthony to a small town in Sicily under constant surveillance. But if he was connected to something deeper, I slipped out of bed, careful not to disturb Sebastian. I dressed quickly. White shirt unbuttoned, charcoal vest, black coat, golden bullet in my pocket. In the mirror, my gray eyes burned with cold chaos, the white streak in my black hair catching the light. "Going somewhere?" Sebastian's voice was sleepy but alert. I turned. He was propped up on one elbow, his emerald eyes half-lidded, the black rose from his nightstand held loosely in his hand. "Sicily. There's something I need to check." Sebastian sat up, the sheets pooling around his bare waist. "You're not going alone." "Sebastian." "I wasn't asking." His voice had shifted, no longer bored, but deadly serious. He rose from the bed, his lean muscular physique moving with impossible grace. Within moments, he was dressed. Blood-red suit jacket over bare chest, unbuttoned black shirt, dark leather pants, the thin gold chain at his hip. He tucked a single black rose into his jacket pocket. "I told you, we find them together." I should have argued. I should have left him here, safe. But I looked at those emerald eyes, at that sharp jawline and silver-white hair, and I nodded. "Then let's go." Chapter 12. The Sicilian Truth. Victor met us at the private airstrip. His face was grim, his dark eyes shadowed. "Boss, there's something you need to see before we go. About Anthony's surveillance." He handed me a tablet. On the screen was footage from the cameras at Anthony's villa in Sicily, except the villa was empty. No Anthony, no guards. Just an abandoned house with bloodstains on the floor. "When did this happen?" My voice was flat, controlled. 3 days ago. The surveillance team didn't report it because They were dead too. Victor's jaw tightened. Whoever took Anthony, they knew exactly where to hit. No witnesses. No security alerts. Nothing. Sebastian moved to stand beside me, his emerald eyes scanning the footage. Professionals. Same as the ones who attacked us at the facility. The same, I agreed. Or connected. The flight to Sicily took 8 hours. Sebastian slept for part of it. His silver-white hair spilling across my shoulder. The black rose on his chest rising and falling with each breath. I stayed awake, watching clouds pass beneath us, turning the golden bullet over and over in my fingers. When we landed in Palermo, it was dawn. A pale gold light that seemed almost obscene given the darkness of our mission. The villa was exactly as the footage showed. Abandoned, blood-stained, silent. Sebastian walked through the rooms with the grace of a predator, his hand hovering near his jacket pocket where he'd hidden a knife. His emerald eyes missed nothing. Someone was tortured here, he said quietly, pointing to a chair surrounded by dark stains. Anthony, probably, or one of the guards. How do you know? Blood spatter pattern. He was tied here, questioned. Then, Sebastian didn't finish. He didn't need to. I had seen enough torture in my life to recognize the signs. But watching Sebastian, the man who wore my dead lover's face, analyze a crime scene with clinical detachment sent a chill down my spine. You've done this before, I said. Not a question. Sebastian looked at me, and for a moment, his bored mask slipped. I don't remember, but my body remembers. Muscle memory. He touched his temple. Whoever created me didn't just change my face. They trained me, in ways I can't access consciously. More secrets, I murmured. More reasons to find the puppet master. We searched the villa for hours. Victor and his men combed every room, every closet, every hidden compartment. It was Sebastian who found it, a false panel in the fireplace behind the ash and soot. Inside was a single item, a photograph. I took it from him, my gray eyes widening. The photograph showed a woman, beautiful, with dark hair and sharp features. Her eyes the same shade of emerald green as Sebastian's. She was standing in front of a building I recognized, the medical facility where Sebastian had been created. And in her hand, she held a single black rose. Do you know her? I asked. Sebastian stared at the photograph, his pale face going even paler. His emerald eyes were fixed on the woman's face with an intensity that bordered on recognition. No, he whispered. But I've dreamed about her. Flames. Screaming. Her voice saying, I'll bring you back, Matteo. I promise. Matteo. The name sent ice through my veins. Matteo was Julian's brother, I said slowly. He died in a fire 20 years ago, the same fire that killed his parents. Sebastian's hand trembled. What if I am Matteo? What if the fire didn't kill me? What if someone saved me and then used me? Who would have saved you? Sebastian turned the photograph over. On the back, written in elegant handwriting. To my son, I never stopped looking for you. Elena Valtieri. Elena Valtieri. Julian's mother. The woman who was supposed to have died in the same fire that killed her husband and younger son. Elena is alive? I breathed. Sebastian's emerald eyes met mine, and for the first time since I'd known him, I saw genuine fear. If she's alive, she's the puppet master. She created me. She gave me Julian's face. She sent me to destroy you. But why? Sebastian's voice was barely a whisper. Because she blames you for Julian's death. She blames the Blackwood family for everything. And she's been planning this revenge for 20 years. The photograph slipped from my fingers, fluttering to the blood-stained floor. The game had just gotten infinitely more dangerous. Chapter 13. The Mother's Web. We returned to New York with more questions than answers. Victor had his men searching for any trace of Elena Valtieri, but she had been dead for 2 decades, according to every official record. No bank accounts, no credit cards, no digital footprint. She was a ghost. But ghosts, I was learning, could be very real. Sebastian had withdrawn since Sicily. He spent hours staring at the photograph, tracing the woman's face with his fingertip, trying to unlock memories that refused to come. His silver-white hair was often disheveled, his emerald eyes hollow. One night, I found him on the balcony of the penthouse, the black rose in his hand, its petals falling one by one into the darkness below. "Talk to me," I said, moving to stand beside him. "I'm remembering things," he said quietly. "Not all at once. Fragments. A house burning. A woman screaming my name. A man in a black coat. Your father, I think. Standing over my parents' bodies. My blood ran cold. My father. Your father killed them, Dominic. The Valtieri family. He burned their house with them inside. Julian survived because he wasn't home. I survived because Elena pulled me out through a window. And then she disappeared. I knew my father was a monster. I had spent my life trying to escape his shadow, to build an empire that was mine. Not his. But I hadn't known about the Valtieri massacre. Why? I asked. Why would he kill them? Because they were rivals. Because your father wanted what they had. Because power is a poison that turns men into butchers. Sebastian turned to face me, his emerald eyes burning. Elena has been waiting 20 years to destroy your family. She built the facility. She experimented on orphans, erased their memories, gave them new faces. I was her masterpiece, because I was her own son, reshaped into the image of her dead son Julian, sent to seduce and destroy you. The horror of it washed over me like ice water. Your own mother turned you into a weapon, I said slowly. She erased your identity, changed your face and sent you to die, because she knew I would eventually kill you if I discovered the truth, or you would kill me, and either way, she would have her revenge. Sebastian's laugh was bitter, broken. And instead, I fell in love with you, the son of the man who murdered my family, the man who got my brother killed. It's a cosmic joke. I reached out and cupped his face, forcing him to meet my gaze. I am not my father. I loved Julian, truly loved him. And I love you, Sebastian. Not because of your face. Not because of who you were supposed to be. Because of who you are. Tears spilled down his pale cheeks. What if the memories change me? What if I become Matteo? Angry, vengeful, hating you for what your family did. Then we faced that together too. He collapsed against me, and I held him, my black coat wrapping around us both. The golden bullet pressed between our chests like a third heartbeat. 2 days later, Elena made her move. Victor burst into my study, his face ashen. Boss, we've lost 3 more warehouses. The federal raids, they weren't random. Someone is feeding the government classified information about our operations. And they just froze all of our offshore accounts. How? Someone with inside knowledge. Someone who knew the account numbers, the passcodes, the intermediaries. Victor's eyes flicked to Sebastian, who was sitting in the corner, the photograph of Elena in his lap. I followed his gaze. You think Sebastian? No, Victor said firmly. I think the woman who created him knows everything he knows. She installed more than a transmitter. She installed a backdoor into his memories. And she's been extracting information from him this entire time. Sebastian looked up, his emerald eyes wide. I've been leaking information without knowing it. The scar on your wrist, Victor said. The transmitter. We removed it, but what if that wasn't the only one? What if there's something deeper? Something in your subconscious? I crossed the room in 3 strides and knelt before Sebastian, taking his hands in mine. We'll figure this out. We'll find her and stop her. She's my mother, Sebastian whispered, and she's going to destroy everything you've built. Let her try. But even as I said the words, my phone buzzed with another message from the unknown number. The Blackwood Empire was built on blood. Now it's time to pay the piper. Come to the old Valtieri estate tonight. Alone, Dominic, or Sebastian dies. Attached was a live video feed. Anthony, bound and beaten, kneeling in a room I recognized as the burned-out shell of the Valtieri family home. And standing behind him, holding a gun to his head, was a woman with dark hair and emerald eyes. Elena Valtieri, smiling. Chapter 14. into the lion's den. I showed Sebastian the video. His face went pale, then hardened. You're not going alone. She'll kill Anthony if I bring anyone. She'll kill Anthony anyway, and then she'll kill you. Sebastian stood, his blood-red suit jacket falling into place, his silver-white hair pushed back from his emerald eyes. I'm coming, not as your backup, as your equal. Sebastian. Dominic. His voice was cold, commanding. I was created to destroy you. Do you really think I can't protect you? I looked at him, really looked. The lean muscular physique, the sharp jawline, the heavy-lidded eyes that held a killer's calm. He was beautiful and lethal, and he was mine. Fine, I said. But we do this my way. The Valtieri estate was a ruin. Once a grand mansion. Now it was a skeleton of blackened beams and shattered glass, overgrown with ivy and shadow. The night was moonless, the only light coming from the headlights of our car and the distant glow of the city. Victor and a team of my best men were positioned in the surrounding woods, hidden, waiting for my signal. But I had made them promise not to move unless absolutely necessary. Elena had eyes everywhere. Sebastian and I walked through the charred remains of the front door, our footsteps echoing on scorched marble. Welcome home, Elena's voice echoed from the darkness. Or what's left of it. She stepped out from behind a crumbling pillar, and I saw her for the first time in person. The photograph hadn't done her justice. She was striking, dark hair streaked with silver, emerald eyes that blazed with madness and grief, a face that had once been beautiful but was now carved with years of hatred. She held a gun to Anthony's head. My brother was on his knees, bloodied, his eyes wide with terror. Elena, I said, keeping my voice calm. Let him go. This is between you and me. Oh, this is between you and everyone I've lost. Her gaze shifted to Sebastian, and something flickered in her eyes. Pain, maybe, or regret. Matteo, my beautiful boy, you were supposed to kill him by now. Sebastian stepped forward, his black rose held loosely at his side. I'm not Matteo anymore. I'm Sebastian, and I won't kill him. Elena's smile was sad, cruel. I gave you everything, a new face, a new purpose, a new chance at revenge. And you threw it away for the son of the man who murdered your family. Dominic is not his father. He wears his name. He rules his empire. He profited from his crimes. Elena's voice rose. The Blackwoods destroyed us, killed your father, burned this house, scattered our family to the winds. Julian tried to bring them down from the inside, and what happened? He fell in love with the enemy and died for it. Julian made his own choices, I said, just like you're making yours. Put down the gun, Elena. We can end this without more blood. Too late for that. She pressed the barrel harder against Anthony's temple. Your brother has been working with me for months, feeding me information, helping me plan the attacks. He wanted your throne, Dominic. He was happy to burn your empire to the ground to get it. Anthony's eyes met mine, filled with a mixture of shame and defiance. She's telling the truth. I betrayed you, but I didn't know she was going to. Shut up, Elena snapped. You were a means to an end, just like Matteo, just like Julian. She looked at Sebastian. You were always my favorite, you know? The one who survived the fire. The one who had your father's courage. I thought if anyone could finish what Julian started, it would be you. Sebastian's emerald eyes were fixed on his mother's face. I remember now, he said quietly. I remember the fire. I remember you pulling me out. I remember you crying, saying you would make them pay. He took another step forward. But I also remember you leaving me, abandoning me in that facility, letting them cut my face open and replace it with Julian's. You weren't saving me, Mother. You were using me. Elena's hand trembled. I did what I had to do. No, you did what was easy. Sebastian's voice was cold, final. And now it's over. In that moment, Victor's team moved. Gunfire erupted from the shadows, not aimed at Elena, but at the guards she had hidden in the balconies above. I lunged forward, grabbing Anthony and pulling him to the ground as Elena fired wildly, her bullet grazing my shoulder. Sebastian was faster. He closed the distance between them in 3 strides, knocked the gun from her hand, and pinned her against the blackened wall. His emerald eyes blazed, his silver-white hair wild, the black rose still clutched in his fist. "Don't," he said softly as she struggled. "Don't make me hurt you." Elena looked at her son. The son whose face she had erased, whose identity she had stolen, whose life she had sacrificed for revenge. And for a moment, the madness faded. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry, Matteo." Sebastian's grip loosened. "I know." And then he let her go. Chapter 15. The Reckoning. Elena was taken into custody, not by the police but by my people. She would spend the rest of her life in a private facility, monitored, contained, unable to hurt anyone else. Anthony's fate was less merciful. We stood in the burned-out ballroom of the Valtieri estate, the moonlight streaming through the shattered ceiling. My brother knelt before me, his face swollen, his hands bound. "You betrayed our family," I said, my voice flat. "You conspired with our enemy. You fed information that got our men killed." Anthony looked up at me with eyes that held no remorse, only fear. "You were going to destroy everything. I was trying to save what I could. You were trying to save yourself." I pulled the golden bullet from my pocket and held it up. "Do you know what this is? A bullet. A bullet I've carried for 7 years. It was meant for me. Julian took it instead." I pressed the bullet into Anthony's palm. "You don't deserve a quick death. You don't deserve a bullet. You deserve to live with what you've done." I turned to Victor. "Take him to the facility in Siberia. He's not to be harmed, but he's not to see daylight again. Ever." Anthony screamed as they dragged him away. I didn't watch. Sebastian appeared beside me. His blood-red suit jacket smudged with ash, his emerald eyes tired. "It's over, is it?" I looked around at the ruins of the Valtieri home, the home where Sebastian had been born, where his family had died, where his mother's madness had been born. There will always be enemies, always someone who wants what we have. But we have each other. Sebastian took my hand, lacing his fingers through mine. "That's enough." I pulled him close, my gray eyes searching his. The white streak in my black hair caught the moonlight. "I love you, Sebastian, not because of your face, not because of who you were, because you chose me, even when everything told you not to." Sebastian smiled. Not the bored, arrogant smirk, but something real, something soft. His emerald eyes glistened. "I love you too, Dominic, and I choose you, every day, for the rest of my life." We kissed in the ruins of the past, surrounded by shadows and moonlight, and for the first time in 7 years, I felt something I had forgotten existed. Peace. Chapter 16, Epilogue, A New Beginning. 1 year later, the penthouse was alive with golden light, the rain-slicked city glittering beyond the windows like a field of diamonds. Purple and crimson neon signs flickered in the distance, but inside, everything was warm. Sebastian stood by the window, his silver-white hair catching the glow, his blood-red suit jacket draped over a chair behind him. He wore only the unbuttoned black dress shirt now, his defined abs and collarbones visible, the thin gold chain at his hip glinting. In his hand he held a single black rose, but beside it, for the first time, there was a white one. "What's that?" I asked, crossing the room to stand behind him. "A new beginning," he said softly. "Black for the past, white for the future." I wrapped my arms around his waist, my dragon tattoos dark against his pale skin. My white shirt was unbuttoned, my black coat discarded somewhere behind us. The golden bullet was no longer in my pocket. I had melted it down and recast it into a simple band, which now rested on Sebastian's finger. "A wedding ring made from a bullet meant to kill me," Sebastian murmured, looking down at it. "Poetic. Romantic," I corrected. He laughed. That real laugh, the one he only gave me. "Since when are you romantic?" "Since a ghost walked into my life and refused to leave." I turned him to face me, my gray eyes meeting his emerald ones. I burned the world for you, Sebastian. I would do it again. He reached up and touched my face, his fingers tracing the line of my jaw, the white streak in my black hair. No more burning, no more blood. Just us. Just us. I agreed and kissed him. The rain fell outside, washing the city clean. Somewhere below, Victor was managing the empire, keeping things running, keeping us safe. Elena was in her facility, her madness contained. Anthony was in Siberia, his ambitions reduced to ash. And here, in the heart of the storm, two men who should have been enemies stood together, wrapped in each other's arms, ready for whatever came next. The black rose and the white rose lay side by side on the windowsill. The future was uncertain, but for the first time that was a good thing.